What's up, everybody? It's me again, and it's time to Lady and Bitch. We're here for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. The episode just went off. I have Jayne, I have Danny. It's a full panel for, well, not, but the full panel for this show. Chad nor Sammy cannot be here today, but the show will go on. Danny and Jayne, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How about y'all?
I'm good. Look at Jayne.
Fearful.
We had to hear
Fearful.
it start because Jayne was about to start talking about the show, and we try to talk about the show before we go live, even though we have group chat, and the group chat be going the whole episode on. So yeah,
We want y'all to get real first-hand reactions.
we try to give y'all like the real or what we actually feel, no filter as much as we can. But it's a lovely Wednesday, and I thought that this was gonna be like the episode before the finale, but clearly we find out this is not the finale. And although I am enjoying this season, I really want it to just kind of cut in because I want to get to the reunion.
I'm drained, girl.
That's
I
how
am
I
drained.
feel. Like, especially with the same thing, and Erika lies every episode. It's just like I'm getting sick of it. But let's go ahead and get into it before we get started. Of course, don't forget to like this video, share, and subscribe. Do all things to support. We appreciate all the commentary that happens after the videos for those that watch afterwards. We know y'all love Jamie. We know y'all think Danny is mean. I don't even really matter. So thank y'all for watching. Nonetheless, we appreciate all the support. Like, subscribe, and share. So let's get into the episode. Pretty good episode. I will say it wasn't filler. I really enjoyed it. Like we said before, this was Kathy. I think Jamie said this was Kathy's best episode in terms of she was.
I did not say that. Daniel said that.
Oh, Danny said that. Okay, I'm sorry, but Daniel said that.
I know you think we all look alike, but
now we talked about it, and now we said it.
I said I know you think we all look alike, but I'm just.
You know what? That's the problem.
Not that's the problem.
That is the problem. But I agree with that statement. Like, this was one of her best because she was so funny and just like, of course, with her quirkiness and then like some of her cluelessness, like, and then the way she got to read together. This was her episode, and it also was the thing that she planned the trip. So I think that has something to do with it because when you do plan a trip, you do feel like you have more of a voice. And I think she really didn't want anyone to ruin the trip, which is why she took so much initiative to get them to speak more, things like that. But let's just talk about it. So the episode started with the announcement of the trip. They're going to Del Mar. And I'm assuming they're not going to give them a real international trip because Del Mar is up the fucking coast of California. So at this point, they have gone to Palm Springs-ish area, and they've gone to Del Mar, which is up the road. So unfortunately, we will not be getting a out of the country, out of the state trip for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but it's all good.
That's fine.
We're not tripping. We know it's COVID. You know, if you know LA, we were probably the most strict. Is actually California the most strict as it relates to COVID. So we really didn't have a lot of like places, things to do in the city. So
they can have drama anywhere.
Right.
Exactly. Beverly Hills is one of those rare franchises that didn't necessarily suffer trip-wise because of COVID. Like, the group dynamic is there that I almost forgot that they weren't like overseas somewhere because they still like brought it no matter what they were doing. The only difference was they're just hanging out with each other at their houses more. They still fighting like crazy. They're gonna fight no matter what.
Now in this episode, Dorit is calling Kathy, and I was like, when they start talking, I was kind of confused, but it really didn't matter because Kathy did not pay her no mind
at all.
Kathy regretted answering.
She definitely was like, you know, like when your mama called, you be like, damn, I should answer the phone. It was giving very much so like. Oh.
When Kathy answered that phone, she said, "This is why I have Patrick answer this fucking thing." Like, so she could pretend like she ain't.
Or the lady.
The lady.
The lady is.
No, but what's really funny is that every time Dorit goes into retelling how Garcelle says she talks too much, every time she does it, she's talking too much. Every single time, like.
Well, I mean, Dorit has never been one to be non-hypocritical. So this is pretty on par for her.
Yeah. But I mean, go ahead.
I'm loving that the more that we see Dorit, and it's very obvious, she's attempting to get in good with Kathy. She's the call when she went to the house. She's like, "This is gorgeous." Like, she's genuinely trying to get in good with Kathy, and the more that she tries, Kathy cannot stand her. Like, Kathy hates her to the point where she's just suffering through her because she's Kyle's friend, like any big sister would.
Yeah. I want to say I feel like the type of shade that Dorit has been trying to call Garcelle about I feel like Kathy has been doing that more. And it's not even been like under the table, it's been like in her face. And she has not been anything. It's just like, I mean, clearly we've said this many times, like, why isn't she coming at Kathy the same way? It's because she wants to be in her good graces. She wants to, like, first of all, Kathy is like, I don't know what kind of power she has, but she has way more money than Dorit. And she is a very big name. So Dorit wants to.
Kathy makes them all look poor. Kathy makes them all look poor.
Yeah, they are.
I agree.
Because they are. I mean, Kathy's had her money. Kathy's money is generational money. Her husband are the Hiltons. They've had money on money on money. The rest of the cast literally has only been rich for about 10 years. So, I mean, it's like your new money versus this is passed down from parents to parents to parents. Like, we're not on the same level.
Yeah. I agree. I noticed that, and it's just like throughout the whole episode and the whole season, like Kathy has been handing it to Dorit, and Dorit just kind of shuts up and just kind of doesn't say much, Versus,
I mean, if you think about it, Garcelle hasn't done anything different than the other girls have said about Dorit. They've all said that,
and that's what I'm saying. In the same,
Garcelle's been the most innocent because them girls run her low.
At the same table and events, she's doing the same thing that she's alleged to Garcelle doing to her. And whether it's like, underhanded or has like where it's like a little slight, a little shady, like it's still happening. And so don't get upset. I'm just saying, that's just me.
Where I think the difference is Dorit's husband, PK, is in the entertainment industry. He's a longtime entertainment manager for Boy George, and that he runs in kind of the same entertainment circles that Kathy Hilton's husband does with the hotels and the good graces with his clients and stuff. So I can guarantee he sat her down before the season started and was like, do not fuck up this relationship with Kathy Hilton. Like, we're not doing this. And I mean, you can tell the way that she interacts with Garcelle. She doesn't regard Garcelle as really anybody that she has anything to benefit from becoming friends with. Like, it's very apparent that she really doesn't see Garcelle as anything.
She wants Garcelle to come work for her.
Okay, she wants to see Garcelle as another part of her colored help in her home. That's what it is, and it's not going to happen because Garcelle has
she's
a real
collecting
job.
them. She's
Garcelle
collecting like
real
Pokemon.
At the Real, she's not taking wedding dresses and adding her name on them. But then the day of the trip, we find out that this is kind of a soft spot to me, that Sutton has an ankle. She has like has a sprained ankle or whatever. And so at first she's all wrapped up or whatever, but it turns into, I guess, where it's like getting swollen or whatnot. And so she has to go.
It did look big.
It did look big, and I was looking at it like, "Ooh, is that my ankle, child?"
Not you have flashbacks.
Well, I was having a little PTSD, and I was just like, "Oh, Lord Jesus!" But she only had a sprain, so she don't know what I went through in terms of that. But she has that part. And she goes to the ER, or even at that point. But before that, I love how Kathy was like completely frazzled about losing her phone. And like you said, the lady, and I'm just like, now, Kathy, you know this woman's name. But she was like, the lady. So I'm wondering, could she not say her name, or did she really not know the person's name? What do y'all think?
I don't think she knew the person's name.
I don't believe she would have somebody working for her and tell her their name.
I mean, Kathy didn't even know that her purse was still at home.
New? But what if the girl was new?
I don't think you think she just hired new help like that?
Patrick hired her.
Okay, Kathy don't do the hiring. Kathy don't do the hiring.
He may be in the HR department for that.
Somebody gonna bring Kathy some tea, and Kathy's like, "Who are you?
Yeah, you understand? Y'all think Sutton sprained her ankle for do the cure in this season? Okay, too much pressure, baby.
Yes, Giannis, I do. I do.
I'm gonna post it on Twitter after that too. Maybe I get a couple of retweets.
Okay, thank you for your service, Giannis.
If Giannis had already posted it. But then, so of course, all the ladies get there. Sutton's at the hospital, and Garcelle is not there yet, which is two of our favorites. So they have a picnic on the beach, and basically, Erika is still going on about how she didn't like being called a liar. And then they start talking. They talk more about the situation with her husband. And of course, she talks about the surgery, why she opted out of getting the surgery because she didn't want him to go under anesthesia because of the brain issues, whatever he was having. And she uses the word allegedly. And using the word allegedly has everybody confused. Like, well, are you still like, what do you know? So
because
again,
she's the one who told the information from the get-go. So now it's allegedly.
she's lying.
Well, she's sitting there saying, okay, he was at the hospital. The doctors are saying we need to operate on his ankle because of this. But how are you going to sit there and tell the doctor no? Because I heard you're not supposed to do that after a brain injury. Like, girl, you know more than the doctors who are recommending the surgery. Like, what's going on?
I don't know. I don't. Why wouldn't you? Who are you?
Who are you to
You used to
tell
work at
a
a bar.
surgeon?
You never was nobody's
Right?
CNA. I mean,
Like,
I'm just saying.
Was it an
I mean,
elective surgery? Did PK have bone spurs? Or
and
did
I
Tom have bone
understand.
spurs? What's going on? Like, he just woke up one day and decided he wanted surgery on his ankle? Like, no, girl, you were unconscious last night for half the day. Like, we can't do this.
Yeah.
I don't like that lady. She a liar. She a dirty. And Chad, you can quote me on that if you're watching this. Erika Jayne's a liar.
Look my best friend on. He said Erika has taught me some things, and I'm a whole nurse. Exactly. And you know what, Tori? She also taught me that it snows in Pasadena because I still can't get over that. I'm about to go to Pasadena soon because I know I'm gonna find some snow probably around January.
Well, it snowed here in Miami before in 1980.
Stop it. Okay.
It
For your
did.
16th birthday?
You know what, Danny Jane? I ain't
No.
got time. Daniel Jane. I'm not.
I'm gonna pull up the receipt for you though.
Okay, pull up the receipt. I'm sure that Erika probably found somebody to Photoshop some damn snow in Pasadena too.
Yep.
Well, she got a Lifetime movie.
Lord,
Snow in Pasadena.
why didn't they give her no Emmy?
A Hallmark Channel.
Her acting wasn't that good.
They gave out other white people Emmys. Why she didn't get one? She been acting her ass off.
Well, they probably thought she wasn't white because of all the orange makeup she's been wearing this season.
Okay,
that's true.
So next week,
we're gonna move on because I forgot. Jamie is a Moa. He did come up by her makeup last time. Or Moa makeup.
Not a Moa. Not a Moa.
Oh, he said, "Daddy, stop." Okay, so then this is where it gets interesting because this scene. I was worried how this scene was going to go, but basically, to lead up point, Garcelle arrives, and of course, poor Sutton. I really hollered when she was wheeling her in, but she took her hand off the wheelchair. Still rolling. I was like,
Did that happen to you when you were being wheeled around?
No, I was only wheeled around a couple times and through the airport, but no, I was not let go.
Not through the airport.
I'll be
your
to the airport this weekend too on the way to DC. So yes,
Chas. I've always wondered what Chastity just said.
Why didn't Erika's son call the cops when he arrived? Exactly, like. Well, Erika's son didn't Erika's son when he on the snowmobile get through the snow? Well, he was one that was in the snow, right?
Stop that.
Oh yeah, his snowmobile flipped over on the way there. That's right.
Yeah,
and Erika's son was a cop, so he probably showed up and helped him frame the crime scene. We know how they do.
We got a lot of medical professionals in this thing. Clearly, everybody said that Erika's lying. So
I love this. We have educated. I love
educated
come on,
individuals in here. So
people in their field. I love it.
I got my CNA license, so I'm licensed to talk about some stuff too.
Was that it? Is that what it is?
And I got the matching Ultima to go with it. I got the Ultima either. Let me stop talking. So that may be somebody's life for real. But anyway, so of course, like I said, they get there and she's pushing her there. I love how Kyle and Kathy was late. And Rinna was calling. She was like, "Is she your boss? Like, girl, chill out." Like, I love it.
The way she said
Kathy is on it this episode.
She said, "Okay, and is she your boss?
Is she your boss?" I'm just like, exactly, like, girl, chill out. It's Rinna.
Well, I also felt Rinna was being so passive aggressive when Garcelle kept saying, "Is someone going to call her?" And Rinna was like, "Sure, I'll do it." And then when she called, "Okay, that's it. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not going up to her room." Like, but it felt like she was aiming that at Garcelle.
Rinna, we gonna get onto Rinna. Rinna got a whole roasting session and coming up very soon.
Well deserved too.
The first thing that happened at the table, Sutton actually was kind of setting the record straight. I like that she was with her ankle and all, basically saying, like, listen, I did call the meeting. I don't apologize for it. I did not call you a liar. So first I want to ask y'all, did she, because in the flashbacks they show, they said that she was lying. She said that she was lying.
She said she already lied. She already left. She didn't call her.
It's the same thing to me.
It's the same thing. I love Sutton, but she basically was saying she was a liar.
But then if we're gonna talk about semantics, and if we're gonna say she called her a liar, that's a technicality. And technically, Erika did lie to them. Erika said Tom was in a car accident and proceeded to omit everything else that she is now saying a year later. Technically, if Erika is going to harp on that, Erika's a liar.
I mean, that's true, but you know, Sutton said, because she was petty. She was like,
but Sutton's defense can't be, I didn't say that.
Huh?
I said Sutton can't say, I didn't say you're a liar. You can say something without saying those exact terms, without saying those exact words.
Yeah. And Sutton didn't call her a liar.
Who says a lie but a liar? She
never said Erika's a liar. She said Erika lied.
Well, in this moment, you know, she said that, and so
Erika Jayne.
What'd she say? Small town, small minded. Oh, she didn't like that child. She said, "Oh, now I'm small minded."
But Erika didn't like being called small town because Sutton was getting her saying, "Bitch, you're from the same place I'm from."
Yeah,
probably worse off. She's worse off. Erika grew up in a trailer.
Yeah.
Sutton ain't never been a Sutton. I don't think Sutton ever.
She ain't never been a Hooters girl. Sutton ain't never been Hooters girl.
Ain't nothing wrong with Hooters girls.
I feel like Sutton could really like gather Erika in these arguments. Like it's so easy.
Sutton doesn't want to.
I don't think she wants to, because that's not really her character, and that's why when Kathy stood in and was like, I don't think she was, Kathy was like, I don't think she's calling you a liar. I think she was defending her, but I feel like she really was trying to say, like, I don't think she's being malicious. She's just saying, like, well, you said this, and then you said this, so she was just saying, stating back what actually happened, So
it just baffles me that these girls, had it been anybody else, they would have all been echoing everything Sutton said.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it's Erika really showed her ass yet again for the 8th episode in a row, just how gross that she was really reacting and how visceral. Why are you talking to me? I have nothing to say to you. And I'm like, girl, you really are doing too
really wasn't
fucking
even
much.
Talking to her. I didn't like all. It because it's like they never let Sutton, when she has the floor, they never let her finish, Then you have Dorit who's saying, you didn't let me finish. Y'all never let this girl finish her statement. Yeah. She was basically, because Kathy said, I feel like there's tension. She took the floor and by like Erika said, don't talk to me. Like she's not talking to you. She's talking about you because its situation is about you. And
Dorit saying you didn't let me finish. You can't ever let Dorit finish. You always have to interrupt.
That's my favorite thing to say.
Dorit is me and I'm Dorit.
And I always feel like when Dorit says that, she wasn't going in that direction, but she saw them come at her and she's like, but if you let me finish, and then she'll try to act like she's going in that direction, but she wasn't. She was gonna read her.
Dorit is trying to get her side out, her point of view out. You know what I'm saying? But it never really matters because there's never a good point of view. It's always like wrong. No one ever.
Dorit just wants to be heard.
She just want to be heard. Like she never makes a valid point. She's just talking.
Never.
And it's like, let me paint the narrative first before I get it for somebody else. But it's like, girl, everybody that's really willing to stop talking. That's just what it is.
Well, and it's frustrating because everybody at that table knows that Sutton is not going to come at Erika the same way that Erika comes at Sutton. Sutton's never going to cuss anybody out. Sutton's never going to get nasty. Sutton's not. So for Erika to sit there and be like malicious and overtly nasty toward her, it's like, all right, girl, what dick are you trying to flex? Like this girl is not even fighting back.
It's the fact that she got called out and the fact that she is lying.
Yeah. There it is. Hit dogs holler. That's
she doesn't care. Thing. Like she doesn't care. This coming, I will say, this is what really made me want to come through.
Excuse me.
Giannis said basically when Dorit was talking to Garcelle and she was like, "Do you understand?" I didn't like that.
Oh yeah, that was gaslighting. That was gaslighting.
Dorit need her ass like just jack it up a little bit. Grab a pigtail.
They were gaslighting her all episode because Dorit knows exactly how Garcelle.
Well, they've been gaslighting her, but I'm saying like those words are like, do you understand? Like, don't chastise. Who the fuck you?
Who are you? Who are you? And again, Dorit is doing that because she knows Garcelle. Garcelle is not going to come at her the same way. Garcelle has remained restrained in how she speaks to these women the entire fucking season, and Dorit and the rest of these women know it.
They've already poked enough to see that
Kyle got it at the reunion. Kyle got it at the beginning. So Kyle learned her lesson. But I think the sad thing is, again, we've discussed it episode after episode. Garcelle has to be very calculating with how she responds to these women, because we all saw at the luncheon for Rinna's lip kit when she lost her cool and said, "Fuck you, Dorit," everybody's jaw dropped. No less than 15
angry
minutes.
black woman.
Yeah, no less than 15 minutes after Erika told Sutton to fuck off. But all of a sudden, Dorit we're gasping.
I just want to say that I can't wait till there is a show and it's a conversation, because I don't think it is an issue with a black woman getting upset. Every time a black woman gets upset, it should not be looked at as an angry black woman or aggressive, because we as
but
as
we
a
see
black
it
woman,
happening. but we see it happening in New York with Ebony. That's what everybody's labeled her.
Yep.
Well, that's true.
And Ebony never raised her voice.
But you know what?
New York,
Ebony, I feel like
episodes.
Garcelle has a lot more support right now. Ebony, maybe, not saying Ebony do anything wrong, but I feel like Garcelle has a lot of
We know Garcelle more.
Everyone is waiting on her to do something, because these girls have gotten away with so much. You know what I'm saying? On this cast this season, they have literally put her into a corner, which is how we get to the later part. I do want to talk about Lisa first, because people talk about Garcelle's moment. Lisa, the very issue with this, she basically was saying, all she kept saying was to get in this group, fit in this group, feel included. Like, it's just, that's a very mean girl mentality. Like, that little circle that they've created. Like, I really feel like they try to make it seem like Garcelle doesn't, like, it's not being nice or not whatever. It's just like, first of all, she's on this is a what's the name of this cast, child? It is an ensemble cast. It's put together. I can't even think of the word. It's an ensemble cast. And if she didn't want to be around y'all, why would she come on this damn show? She don't need this check.
Absolutely. So the thing that got me was Lisa was dictating, almost like an instruction manual. Follow these steps, and we'll accept you. One, I'm a grown-ass woman with two high school age kids. You are not going to tell me, well, if you want to feel included, you have to do A, B, C. I don't have to do that.
What is
I
this?
don't have to do that.
Who created this handbook that she has to do this, and then you want to say you didn't know it was Kyle's birthday? I don't know Kyle's birthday.
Did Kyle tell her? Did Lisa tell her? Her and Kyle don't hang out outside the show.
And Sutton only knew because she pays Kyle. Sutton only knew because she pays Kyle her rent. So.
And Kyle probably told her, "Boy, it's my birthday. My birthday."
Yeah, throw a little extra in there.
Not a little gift card.
Yeah, Lisa really was like literally just sitting there talking, like it's like she was on a script, and then like even like the situation. It's like honestly, at the beginning of the season, Garcelle had the upper hand on Lisa, right? And now I feel like she's just coming back any way she can to get back at her for making her look all the ways in the first 5 episodes. Because ever since, let me see, at what point the shifting point was Dorit. She's really using Dorit to get back at Garcelle. Because she has
Dorit thinks she has her back. Rinna's using Dorit like a pawn too.
She's definitely using her as a pawn. She don't care about Dorit and Dorit's issue with her.
She reads Dorit too.
Boots. Who don't read Dorit?
Okay. Dorit.
It's just Lisa. Everything that Lisa was saying was literally verbatim what the blog
Chastity's
about
Lisa. Right again.
Yeah. Chastity said Lisa said
she's right again.
Yeah, it's the same. This is a repeat of last season. Because every season, what this cast does, what I've noticed, like trend, they find one person. And they all come, the majority comes down on that one person, back them into a corner, and that's how you get the storyline. It should have been Erika this season, but it turned out to be Garcelle.
And it's funny because every chance she get, Rinna says, I've known Garcelle for 20 years.
But you notice she hasn't said all season, Garcelle and I have been friends for 20 years. She said, I've known her for 20 years.
Yes, Kyra.
What did Kyra say? 2 people plus her celebrated. Look, her and her 18 kids.
You would never know it was anybody's birthday. And Garcelle's birthday party that they threw was fake as fuck.
It was
production told him to do it.
It was an office. It was an office party
for her. You would never know it was for Garcelle. You would have thought that it was just.
It was an office pizza party with Little Caesars and a Kroger cake.
Like girl,
and a meltdown from Sutton.
And God bless her, because she wasn't invited. Because she didn't know about the gift. That's how you know it wasn't real. Like, you didn't tell Garcelle's best friend that you were buying a gift. So it's just all you girls got together one day and invited Sutton. Sutton didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, and the fact that Crystal chipped in.
Look at Yanni's comment. So he said that Yanni said people are saying Sutton is exposing Rinna and Kyle on Watch What's Happening Live right now.
I have a recording.
I haven't
I have a recording.
I haven't watched it, but Giannis, if you listening, because obviously we on the show, let us know what they. Or if you want to, you can get on Giannis and you can
join in, Giannis.
Yeah,
because I can't do this and do this in the same time.
We can only do so much, Giannis.
I mean, only do so much. So then, okay, after Lisa's moment, now this moment was kind of like I dreaded this because I was like, why is she going to cry? Why is she going to cry? But I will honestly say it was a very heartfelt moment. I kind of felt it because in so many ways, what I'm saying? I hate that she gave that to them, but it seemed to be the only way that she would break through this group. It seemed like there was no other way.
But I also felt like she actually said the truth.
No,
I feel like she's always been honest with them.
Yeah.
But I feel like in that moment, Garcelle has always had her guard up because she's realized you can't trust these women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I think that was her first time,
that's, I think watching that, there was a lot of parallels of Sutton and why I can see why they're friends. They're the type of people that whenever they get frustrated, when they reach a breaking point, the emotions that they bottle up to there don't have anywhere to go. Like those were tears of frustration. She wasn't sad. She wasn't poor me. It was, I don't know what else the fuck I need to say to get this through to you guys. Like, leave me the fuck alone. Some people lash out. Some people scream. Some people cuss. Like, this girl is sick and
also
tired
it was
the
the fact that I had to say this for you guys to understand.
Exactly.
You guys should be able to see.
And one thing, although she did mention, I'm saying, I'm the only black, it's not about race. I really wish she would have used a little bit more of that too. She didn't need to, but they needed to hear something about I'm the only black for them to realize, because you notice when she said it, it flashed the camera over to them. I wanted to see their faces because
you could tell Rinna actually, I think at that moment, Rinna might have got it a little bit.
I know Kyle did. Kathy did.
Was sincere when she said
Rinna did not. It was show.
No, I feel like
that part pissed me off.
Rinna, because I feel like Rinna, if anybody else does not want to be seen as a racist in any kind of way.
Well,
I think
that part pissed me off because it goes back to why Garcelle has been so guarded her 2 years on this show to begin with. The fact that she had to say, which was a statement, I'm the only black woman in this group, and immediately follow up with, well, don't freak out. It's not about race. I'm not going to talk about being black. Yeah. It was that caveat of, I don't want to make you guys feel uncomfortable with my truth of where I am here.
I actually got a little bit annoyed with Kathy in that scene.
I was going to say,
girl,
this is the comment
Kathy
annoyed
me.
Not Kathy,
when she said, I do, I'm like, Kathy, shut the fuck up.
Garcelle looked at her and said, every day?
Like, Kathy, first of all, you are like, no,
you're just
weird.
You
are the wrong example to say you understand anything about feeling different in a room. Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, Kathy, you're the richest person in the room.
You're like the richest person in the room. And I'm not saying she don't have issues and struggles. Rich people clearly have problems. However, you can't relate on this in this context of conversation.
Well, so maybe Kathy, that's why she feels different. She walks in a room and everybody's poor.
Keep on terrorizing Dorit. Keep on.
Yeah.
That's right now. I'm like, Kathy, what's going on?
Yeah.
That actually, it really rubbed me the wrong way for a second.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a knee-jerk reaction of like, oh, girl.
But I do want to say, like, this scene is like why this is why I always, when I see one black person and I see 5, white people or white individuals, whatever, I'm always side-eyeing. I always do, because I just feel like, at some point, I wonder, do you feel like an outsider? Like, how do you feel? Because not that they don't accept you, you have fun. That's what they hear it there. But at some point, are you always with another race, not your kind? You have to be like, how do you really feel? And this seems like
not always, because you got some people who live to only be around another race. So
that's true.
But I mean, Garcelle, she's an actress, so she's grown up. More than likely, roles like the Jamie Foxx show and stuff are few and far between, because shows that center around black people are a minute proportion of shows that get greenlit in Hollywood. So her career, she was in a single show where she was not the minority on there. So she's had to act and been able to disconnect on this show, as produced as it may be. It's still a little bit of reality. So you don't get to separate, I'm coming to work and then clock out and go home.
Yeah.
So and to talk on that, whenever they say that Garcelle's working at the Real, it always sounds so condescending.
Very flippant. Oh, she's at the
She
Real.
did say she
How
was
was the Real?
And then Erika said, "Yes, she had to work, honey." Like it just
Erika,
always
you should be
so...
working. Girl, you
Nah,
need to get a
nobody's
job.
gonna hire her.
Ask Garcelle if they need an errand girl or a PA or something on the set. You need to be delivering sandwiches or
Cassidy,
something.
we've been said this. Crystal wants to be one of the white women. She's doing exactly what she said that she was used to want to do as a kid, and she's living. She's trying to be accepted, and I guess she thinks it's working because in her head she is a thin little white girl on this show. I'm sorry.
And what bothers me about Crystal doing what Chastity is saying is she'll love to chime in on Garcelle's talks about being a minority when it's convenient for the moment, so she can relate to those viewers.
She dragged Sutton. She dragged Sutton in episode 2.
Yeah.
And now Garcelle's sitting there crying.
Now I'm looking at you like, okay, girl, yeah. I'm trying to see what color do you see, because you ain't said nothing about color since you made your point to Sutton. Every time Garcelle brings up anything related to color, you are mute.
Well,
Didn't
no,
even get up
she
and
talked
say,
about it a second time.
Who?
When she talked about they had another conversation about race, and she chimed in a second time.
I think she just talked about her experience of wanting to make sure her kids don't lose the Chinese heritage part of it. But I mean,
no, she was talking about her growing up. There was another scene somewhere later on. They were having dinner, and they talked about race again.
If you can't remember it, it probably wasn't that impactful.
It was the same time they had. Yeah, it was the same time. Dorit talked about her brown help.
But yeah, as far as that scene, like I see a staff case said, she disappointed Garcelle. I took this stance, and sometimes I go back and forth. I just feel like this may have been the only way she could get through to them. And that doesn't mean that she actually got through. Maybe for a camera moment, we'll see at the reunion, because I know it's going to come up. Yeah. And do y'all think that they will move different with her now, or do you think that she'll still run into the same issues?
I think she'll still. I mean, you have to think about this. This is a job. Think about it when you're one of the only Black or brown folk in corporate America.
Yeah.
You may want to cuss somebody out all day long, and other people can chime in on your experience and say, you got to do A, B, C, or D, but you're living it. You're in the real world. You're like, I can't cuss these white folk out for their microaggressions. I can't do A, B, C, or D.
Come on,
and
y'all.
Who are we?
The girls are reading Crystal in these comments. This giving
love to see it.
Love to see it. We're proud of Crystal. We started out like Crystal started out like, okay, but ever since things have gotten when it got hot in the kitchen, she just went it on out, and
she left the kitchen because the help is in there.
Oh yeah,
she ain't got to be in the kitchen.
I don't know. Crystal is looking a little sus.
And her help is Latina. So I'm already
side. And I agree, it's not Garcelle's responsibility to constantly educate these women. That's very true, because she has been doing it a lot. She educated Kyle on certain things you can and should say to a Black woman. I mean, she's made other statements too. So at this point, this is class for Garcelle. She is a teacher, and these are her kids, but her kids are very disrespectful. They cuss at her and do other little stuff.
What's become a little annoying is that because Garcelle mentioned race now too, I'm actually afraid we won't get genuine moments now, because
now they're gonna be
tiptoeing around her. And what I really want is for them to treat Garcelle the same way they treat everybody else. So when Garcelle lashes out, it's warned.
Yeah, like let her cuss you out. If you deserve something to be cussed out about, like let her cuss you out. But I mean, these women, particularly the Fox Force 5, they've been in this game long enough to where they're calculated. Their image is calculated. They know how to course correct. They know how to go on an apology tour.
Well, you say with the 5, that's including Crystal?
She's the new Teddy.
Okay.
I just, for those in the chat, the comments are going up, but of course, this is the time where we allow individuals
jump on.
You can jump on, you can chat, video, audio. I sent the link in the comments. Feel free to join. We'll give you, depending on how many we got to call in today, you'll either have a little time or a little more time, but we'll see. The link has been posted.
Come on, Kyra.
The link has been posted.
Okay, I know Kyra waiting. She ready for that click.
Well, I'm ready. I love when she comes on. So
yeah. So
I hope Mel's able to come back on. His audio wasn't working last week, so I hope.
Listen, Mel, Megan, Brooke.
Mel be reaching out to me to chat on the weekend. I'd be like, Mel, I am off. I am off work. I do not like talking about this show.
If the people are engaged,
you do this
Cortez,
almost every night.
Yeah, I'm doing it like right now 3, sometimes 4 times a week. So I'm like, listen, I am off. But we got somebody to join, and first it is going to be Megan. Welcome to the lane.
Hey, Megan.
Hello, Megan.
Hey guys. I didn't even expect to be first. Hold on, let me get my thoughts together. Listen, on like what I said in the chat, honestly, this dinner literally sickened me to my core. I didn't even watch the rest of the episode. I didn't care. I was just like, I just felt like Garcelle breaking down. It's almost as if like it was the other women got their like black horror, no, they're like black trauma porn moment. Like they got the trauma porn, like they got the breakdown. Oh, she's breaking down. Now we can see her. It's like, you didn't see her before. You didn't know who this girl was before. She had to be reduced to tears for you guys to understand. And then for her to have a hug from evil Kyle and then Dorit, let's ask Hemsley. I was just like, what is going on here? Like, what is going on? Like, what is happening? Honestly, I do agree Sutton is backpedaling, but I don't care anymore. I don't. I'm just like, she is. I don't care. Because whether she's backpedaling, whether she's front pedaling, she's going to get the same reaction. So it doesn't really matter at all anyways.
And at least she said it.
Yeah, she said it.
Exactly.
She seemed more confident this time speaking. Even in general, even when Erika was challenging her, she seemed to be a little more like, because she was even giving you head nods, like.
Well, she knows what Erika's gonna get, so she's prepared now. Erika's gonna cuss, she's gonna be mad, she's gonna drool. So like, whatever, I can deal with that.
Right.
Exactly, and you know what? I'll give Sutton that because I feel like she's kind of from the earlier episodes to now. I feel like okay, like you got through dinner without leaving or crying, so that is progress. And the other thing I want to talk about is like, Dorit, I really see you like now. I see who you are and I believe you. This is like the second time that, I don't know if you guys noticed, she does this like mocking of Garcelle's voice, which I think is so disgusting. She like mocks her voice. That's one. The 4 languages comments.
Oh yeah.
The do you understand? It's giving like I want to.
I'm talking to my slave.
Yes,
my worker or something like it. I didn't like that. Do you understand?
Hit the nail on the head. It's giving. I want to assert my white supremacy. I want to let you know that in this like dynamic, I am the one with power and you are not, and I want to assert that right now. And it's so gross.
It's gross.
It's gross.
I always wondered if she asked her, does she understand her because of her phony accent? But
she needs subtitles.
Yes. And honestly, just the last thing, I don't know how many people, just the last thing really quickly, I want Garcelle to, like, I think some people in the chat were saying, I want her to lean into the race thing. Lean into it because
I agree. I wish she would have went more into it.
Lean into it because it is about race. She's like, oh, it's not, it is about race. It absolutely is about race. And I feel like the more she leans into it, the more they will expose themselves and the more that we can get them off the show. Like Dorit saying the thing about her colored help and her mom's one black best friend. Like if we have more moments like that, they won't be on this show because Bravo would not, they couldn't find an explanation for why you're having people like that on this show. They couldn't. So
also, I'm laughing at this comment.
They were happy. I'm gonna let you go, Megan, but I do want to say they will, because look at New York.
They'll cancel the show.
Ramona's still
They'll
there.
cancel the
they
show.
just found a way to reduce, but they won't get rid of them, Chad. They won't have.
You know what? That's true. That's
but
true.
We got somebody to join. Thank you for calling in.
Bye, Megan. See you next week, Megan.
Bye, Megan.
All right. Next person coming in is Quinn. I think Quinn was here last week. Welcome to the lane.
I was here last week. Hello.
Welcome back.
I actually really enjoyed this episode. It gave me funny, it gave me rich white people stuff, and also a little bit of drama. So I enjoyed it.
A little bit. Just a little?
Yeah, a little bit. Dorit really pissed me off with that "do you understand" question. Yeah. And I wrote this in the comment, but I'm like, you have 4 languages, but you have 0 comprehension skills. And something that I've learned about people in general is that they project a lot of what they don't like about themselves and then they use that to attack other people because they're constantly saying how Garcelle isn't being transparent or authentic. I was like, Garcelle doesn't have to rest on her fashions like Dorit does, or rest on the fact that she's married a rich white man like Erika, or rest on the fact that she's married to Harry Hamlin. Garcelle's a queen because of who she is.
Mm-hmm.
When people mention
She's
Garcelle,
built
they don't
herself.
think about her ex-husband. They say, "Oh, we know Garcelle."
I
From
still don't even know his
show.
name.
Like I think
I
I'm
don't
talking
know
about
either.
when she entered the hotel and she was in that all white. I was like, damn. I was like,
She did look
Garcelle
good.
just stands out on her own, not
Yeah.
because she's black, but just because of who she is, and they can't take that. And I said that I really loved Garcelle this season because she gave a well-rounded season of a housewife. I've gotten more depth from her than we have from the other women in all 11 seasons.
Well, she's the only one that's really, really working. Do you think a
Exactly.
little bit of like their backlash and their little backhanded comments about the real is she's genuinely the only one in that group who is booking shows on her own and doing things and is still doing her career. Kyle's not doing anything.
Well, hold on. You can't forget Rinna and Beyonce. Lo.
Stop.
Kyle is in Halloween Kills, and you say you ready for her to die.
Well, and I am. The only reason she's in that movie is because she was in the first one when she was 8 and she wasn't a bitch back then.
Oh.
So
I think she was.
Let's ask Jamie Lee Curtis. But Quinn, everything that you said is spot on. Like the girls cannot take her. They couldn't take Denise when she came on because Denise still had a career when she came on the show. She wasn't washed up. She was still getting booked. Erika attacked Eileen, and the girls were dragging Eileen because Eileen was one of the only ones still working.
Yeah.
Rinna has not done anything other than Housewives. She got on Eileen's soap opera because Eileen asked her to come on the soap opera.
Yeah.
Erika got on the soap opera.
Rinna's been on Days of Our Lives since the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
But hasn't
now
been
they
on
only
since
know her as a housewife
2005.
star.
Huh?
Now they only know. I was like, how do
Yeah.
your career transition from actress to housewives? I was like, no, bitch, I'm an
Yeah,
actress.
but see, these girls really can't take anybody whose life is not just housewives.
They
If
can't
you have something going on outside of housewives, you're a threat to them.
because there's actual substance there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm like, we saw Garcelle's Haitian heritage, her children. I mean, about her life, about her mom, the butterfly, what that means to her, and then her breaking down being vulnerable. I'm an actor. Being vulnerable is one of the most courageous things you can do, especially as a black person surrounded by a bunch of white women. Although people are like, I hated the fact that but how else were you gonna have to?
Yeah, especially around people you don't trust.
Or people you don't like. Because remember, Garcelle said that. I like y'all. Some more than others.
They don't, you know what I realized?
The some more than others was Kathy and Sutton.
But you know what I realized? They don't like shade. And it's funny because they give shade, but they don't like shade from they don't like her shade because her shade cuts more than what they can give. And I think that is where they get so. But how do you really feel about us? It's like, girl, it's just shade. Like, come on now, move along.
It's because they don't know how to shade.
They don't know how. They don't know how, and the privilege comes out. It's like, what do you mean? Some more than others? Me? So it's just becomes a big problem.
But they're also conceited. They feel like they're included in the some more part.
They know they are. Quinn, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for calling in.
Nice to talk to you, Quinn.
Nice to meet you, Quinn.
Bye, guys.
All right, we have Kyra. Welcome back.
Come on. There's my girl.
Queen Kyra.
Okay, so as I said, I studied neuroscience, learning about how memory is encoded into our brains, language functions, all that kind of stuff. If he had a TBI, they would have treated it. They would have not just sat there and just done the ankle. That makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. For one. For two, this episode for me almost made me feel, because I think we talked about Garcelle maybe not wanting to be the angry black woman, but I think this episode almost clarified to me kind of what maybe her thing was. It almost made me feel like Garcelle wanted the black woman to acknowledge her blackness. and not for it to be acknowledged when there's a confrontation, but for it to be acknowledged because she's a human being. Because when the fact is, when she said, do you guys ever question me being, the only Black person here, and like she wasn't trying to talk about race, but then she tried to assuage their feelings, but then because she still talked about race, she still talked about the race, she still proceeded to continue on that path. But when she said, do you guys ever think about that, whatever, and then when Kyle said, oh yeah, I thought about it, which means that this whole entire time, Kyle, when you waited to bring that up after reunion about her not paying because people sending it to the wrong address, you knew. So I think of the first season, we were always like, oh, they want Black people coming for them. I think they were trying to strategize, how do we go after her?
Yeah.
I think they took that season to figure out how do they go after her. Because I find it interesting to me is, I think, yes, she had a vulnerable moment, which Rinna was picking at, that she was trying, it was a mean girls, follow my rules, and then you can be in the group. But for me, with Dorit, I find it interesting that you had all of this thing where she was coming after you, but then when she's vulnerable, she's trying to show you like, hey, this is me. All of a sudden now, none of that matters. To me, if I was really upset, I could have still acknowledged, hey, okay, I can take that into account. We can work on our friendship for there, but that stuff still bothers me. But the way that all laid to the side means that you were intentionally picking on her for her to have a breakdown.
Yeah, she even invited everyone to her house to have that dinner for her culture, like to show them.
It gets very much like when an abusive partner attacks your psyche and breaks you down mentally and just jabs and gaslights and picks. And then when you finally break down, it's, I don't know why you're reacting this way. All I'm saying is how I feel. And this is, like you said, Kyra, they're how do we break this woman down? Slowly, chip at it.
Bringing up talking stuff. About making an issue.
They're talking about why don't you feel included, but there's not a single scene where any of them other than Sutton have picked up the phone to call Garcelle, who are asking, talk to us about how your kids are doing. What are you doing? None of them are asking, to other than Garcelle showing up at Kyle's house when she had COVID to give her a gift. And that was Garcelle reaching out. So I'm not getting this understanding of, well, you're not trying hard. And they're all shocked that.
Well, there's the barbecue sauce that her and Harry dropped off that she wanted 5.
Thank you on Watch What Happens Live, when the whoever Jonas was saying like Sutton was telling all the girls, Sutton said, well, I invited Lisa and Harry to a John Legend gala. I didn't hear a thank you. So a gala versus bringing a sauce.
A sauce.
Question.
A $6 bottle of sauce.
Questions. I'm just saying. But yeah, Dorit's very intentional and also segueing to RHOP, but this is related. See, this is why I say that Ashley wants to be a white woman, because Ashley does the same thing that Dorit does when they're trying to mimic someone who's Black and or darker skin. You taught when they are trying to replicate their voice when they say something, it's either aggressive, it sounds less intelligent, and not in the tone that they said it. The way in which Dorit repeats what Garcelle says, when Garcelle to me I'm a musician, I played the violin for like 12 years. She has a lovely, soothing, like really tonal voice. The way that Dorit repeats her voice sounds like a country bumpkin. It is the same way that when Ashley repeats Candace and or Wendy's voice, how Candace has like a strong tone, but Candace's actual like intonation, how she puts words together is very smooth. But when Ashley repeats Candace and Wendy talking, she makes them sound less educated.
Oh, of course.
So to me, that is very purposeful. Especially when I'm like, she was the one born in the other country, and somehow, some way, how to bring out this country bumpkin American accent.
Yeah. Well, it's textbook microaggression. So whether or not she's purposely, I'm going to make you feel bad about this, it's something that's instilled in non-Black folk to whenever we say or do something, we know that it's going to get a rise out of it. We're just choosing not to acknowledge the microaggressions that are attached to it. She does it to.
I'm gonna talk faster because I don't know how much longer I have. But Crystal,
I actually got to let you go. I was laughing at a comment, but I guess
someone said she sounded like the Cookie Monster.
To join. Let us know the question in the thing, Kyra, and we'll address it in the last few minutes of the show. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay. And then was already on. Welcome to the lean, Charles.
Hey y'all, how are y'all today?
Are you the Charles that's always in the comment?
Yes, I am.
But you
are you that Charles?
Yeah, because I have a lot to say. Not a lot, but a lot.
Go ahead. It's your first time.
Not a lot, but a lot.
A little bit longer. Go ahead.
All right. For one, the dinner scene was all interesting to me. The first thing I want to mention is like when when Cal had walked in, Dorit was like, "Were you late for glam?" Right? And when I heard that in my mind, it was like, if that would have been Garcelle, it would have been oh, she's digging at me.
Yeah.
Or even like the whole like when Kyle was like, "Oh, have a piece of bread," and like it was jokingly, but we all know if that had been Garcelle, it would have been a thing. And then too, like I'm not gonna lie, at first I was with Dorit, like as far as like calling Garcelle out, which she has a right to do. But it's like she's doing it because she has nothing else to do. It's like she makes it a point to always mention, like, "Oh snaps, guys! Like, me and Garcelle have an issue." Like that's who she's going after. And of all the girls, Kyle is the one who I feel like genuinely wants to get to know Garcelle, but she can't because they have like this alliance. And I don't think it's necessarily like because of Garcelle's race. I think that it's like they know that like essentially right like it's been like the conversation about like the OGs getting out, right? We know that Kyle is an OG. Rinna has been around a while. Dorit has been around a while. Also Erika. So it's a thing of we have to band together so we can stick on this show. We have to get whoever out. We have to like push them out so the show needs us compared to, if one of them were to leave, like, right? Like with Teddy. Like Teddy has done nothing, but then like all of a sudden last season, she's like, "Oh, let me call Denise out. Oh, let me call Vanderpump out." Like that season. It's weird.
I want to say something about the Kyle thing really quickly because Kyle, there was like a whole little thing to get all the OGs out. There was a point they were trying to get rid of a lot of OGs. That's the Nenes, all the people that were there from the beginning. Kyle, she has banded with a lot of the other girls, which does give her the advantage. But at the table, she made a comment. She was just like, I just never verbalized, how I feel, which basically proves to, like you said, and what I'm saying is that she clearly is like she does want that relationship with Garcelle, but she's only going to do so much because this is where the majority is. This is where she's safe. Garcelle is still new, and that going that route could potentially get her out in some kind of way. I don't know. Go ahead, Jayne.
Well, Kyle doesn't have a backbone. We've seen the way she's turned against her own sister whenever certain members of the cast were going against her sister. She turned against Vanderpump, even though I fully believe Vanderpump leaked that story to the press. But Kyle is one of those that when she'll get involved in mess and she'll have a conversation only as deep until now it's turned on her. And then she doesn't want it. She's back. I'm out. I'm not doing this. She doesn't have a backbone. Kathy
and I don't
run
think
that show.
And I don't think Kyle genuinely wants to be Garcelle's friend. I think Kyle has been on the show long enough to know how to perform for the camera and how to play both sides and get both sides to like her.
Yeah, that is true.
I want to see how she interacts with Kenya on this special. You know what I'm saying? It's Kenya and Cynthia, because I feel like I'm not a Kyle fan, but she would be the one that I would think would want to be friends with Garcelle. Everybody else, it would seem like it's forced. You know what I'm saying? Sutton and Garcelle was a surprise to me, but it's such an iconic duo. Like, I love their relationship. And so I feel like she needs, she would be good with someone else like that is white, in my opinion. But I don't know. Torian said Kyle is a less... First of all, he said Kyle is a goldfish, boring. Charles, we're going to let you go, okay, because we have to get ready later in a second. But thank you for calling in and giving your perspective and your input.
Thank you, Charles.
Bye, Charles.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
All right. One last topic I want to talk about that we didn't mention before we lean out was the last scene with Erika, more of her lies. It was brought up to talk about it, and it was where she was talking about her. Let me find the comment, because honestly, I kind of leaned out after Garcelle cried.
She was talking about the brother taking over the what's it called, and him been put in a home.
Yeah.
Yes, and the family not being really wanted to be involved and stuff like that. And Erika, what got me is when she said, I still love.
I read it yesterday.
I don't want to be, heartless girl. What about the victims again?
Again.
Victims.
I don't care about the kids. It's very.
It's not adding up.
Her.
She's very fuck them kids. I would be Erika in another life because fuck them kids. But
you want to be
Erika? No, I don't. I like my hips unwide.
One thing about when she lies is that she lies and she talks so fast that it's like she don't even give a chance for the first lie to breathe. Like another lie right so quick to this. This is like Jesus.
You can tell.
And the thing is, she's been volunteering lies. She's been volunteering lies.
Yeah, very Mia Thornton, but yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just different though. Very Mia, but anyway.
It just doesn't. She's nothing she's saying adding up, and the fact that she's getting this upset means that she's getting frustrated because she's like, "Oh shit! Like I can't remember what I told y'all, and now y'all are catching on." And I read the story last night, but it just hit the press this morning. So how'd you get Betty Weeks a lot? Oh.
Yeah.
It just Eric, she doesn't know whether she's coming or going. All she knows is she needs to know if she's going to jail.
I want to know what he is. How old is that man? Like 80? What?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say he ain't got no family, but what family is what is the family that is like?
He has kids, doesn't he? That are in their 50s.
No,
they're older than Erika.
They keep saying his brother, and I'm thinking, okay, his brother. So you're not mentally well, so you're gonna have somebody in their 70s and 80s.
Right, I'm just like
take over for you.
I'm not age shaming, but age does play a factor. He is up.
Yeah,
there.
but if it's dementia like behavior, that's usually hereditary. It's usually, I'm not a doctor.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Or a nurse. So
Tonyo say he does have kids.
You're not a CNA.
Allegedly. I'm gonna have to watch.
I do have an Ultima though.
I'm gonna have to watch. Yeah. Oh, you do have an Ultima. I wasn't coming for you when I said that.
I know. Oh, I know you was.
That was shade. Was that a dig? That felt like a dig.
I actually seen the Ultima.
He was talking about the older bodies.
I was talking about the old Ultima, the one that used to have the roller set and the CNA license. That's all. That's the old look. Y'all know that look, don't y'all know? Anyway, nonetheless, we're about to get ready to lay now. I do want to applaud Garcelle for being the only person pushing Sutton the entire time. That is not easy as somebody that is in the same position currently. Shout out to Garcelle. Like I said, I really love their friendship, and they really are friends outside of the show. Like you can tell that they are. So even when this show ends, I think they'll still be friends. And that's a much better friendship than with anybody else over in the other group.
And thank y'all for putting up with my allergies tonight. I have to go tomorrow and get some new Allegra. I'm out, and I'm dying over here.
Thank you, Danny.
Looks like it.
Oh no. Thank you, Danny, for getting through through the allergies. We're gonna get ready to lean out. Thank everybody for joining. Thank you, Kyra. Thank you, Megan, Charles, Quinn, for leaning in with us today. We're about to lean out. Don't forget to like this video if you're watching right now. It's 50 y'all watching right now. It should be 50 likes when I end this video, right? So like the video.
Don't be a hater.
Don't be a hater, because if you don't like, you're a hater. Nonetheless,
2021.
We will see you guys next week for Beverly Hills. It's not the finale, chatter. So we have to go.
How much longer do we got?
If you're watching Salt Lake City live,
we got a month and a half left.
Oh yeah,
we got a month and a half left.
It won't end. But
Bravo said we know the other franchises have been a snooze, so girl, here we just gonna keep this one going.
Salt Lake City and Potomac have been good, and like I said, speaking of Salt Lake City may be pushed to Monday this week because I have to travel.
You need some drinks. You need to go off with some drinks.
I have to travel, and
drink some Elisa's tequila.
You going to Pasadena?
I'm going to the snow in my wheelchair.
Okay.
But
shout out to everybody.
Right. Y'all have a good y'all night. Thank y'all for watching and leaning in, and we will see y'all next week. Good night.
Bye.